Hi friends, it's Wednesday, May 27th, and game plan today, I'm not running full out. Haven't done this in a week. I'm not going to chance that today. So I'm going to warm up. I'm going to run my quarters. I'm then going to do fifths. So I'm getting more specific on the sections. So quarters, fifths, skill work. It's 3:30 now. I'd like to be out of here by 5. So we'll check in on the other side. That's the update. Hi. Okay, quick thoughts because I am about to get on my way to the organic store to grab meat for the week. So I've got like 3 or 4 minutes before I'm there. I just got done with practice. And it was so good. I should take time off more often. Just kidding, don't do that. Because it actually did take me a while to find my groove again. But I am proud of myself for so many reasons. First and foremost, just getting back in it, right? Like, I know a week off doesn't sound like a big deal, but mentally that can be challenging when you're throwing a lot of skill in your body around and then you take some time off. It can become a little challenging mentally just to get back into skill work and right back in it. I know I keep coming back to this, but I want to reiterate because it's getting so good. My tuck is so solid. And I'm setting better, so I'm starting to rotate in place, which is great. If you follow technique of flipping skills, you do want to try to stay in a tuck, which is a no-handed backflip. You want to try to stay in one place and not travel. So that was great. I did forget to mention this. I had an idea for a section that I wanted to try to adjust because my new skill at the end of the routine, backside of the routine, I want to take more time on because I think it's going to help me hit it. But that means I need to swipe out a skill, which I really do want to keep this particular skill, and I knew where I could potentially throw it. So I think I like the placement where it's at. Frankly, it makes the one section a little bit easier than it was. I don't know if I love like one tiny itty bitty part of it, but it hit with every run today. And I did quarters, and then I did fifths, and then I did skill work, isolated skill work. So I'm happy with that. Overall, I had good runs across the board in every single section. Nothing didn't not. There was one of my handstand skills that I brought back was admittedly shaky today. I had 2 runs where it was really good. Just solid. When I say good, like we weren't moving, we did it exactly how I'd want to compete it. But that was 2 runs of a lot, so just one I need to keep coming back to a little bit more. And probably the most important thing of the day, I ain't saying she's pretty, and I think I need to work on the angle of my body because I think if I angle my body, it'll look a little bit more appealing. I got the skill that I was challenged to put in, and I mean, like, I shocked myself, but I think that's why I needed more time in my routine to do it. I think I was rushing too much. I also think I've needed to work on my strength and confidence to do it and my technique. And I think everybody is so different with how they move their body, and especially with strength, what's going to work best for somebody might not work for me, and vice versa. So I've had to play around with a lot of different body positions to see how I could do this skill, and I did it today, and that feels very exciting. So I'm leaving practice jazzed. I did come down on my knee so hard on one skill, which it's, again, I keep going back to these stinking transitional skills that are fluff. They are there to make things just smooth out from one thing to the next. I didn't arch my back enough, and so my knees just slammed, and even through the knee pad, that hurt. So I'm gonna ice my knee because I do feel like it's gonna be a little inflamed tomorrow. Nothing of concern, like, oh my gosh, I'm hurt, but enough that I had some cuss words to say when it happened. So all in all, it was so good today. and I'm happy to be back at it. Feels exciting. So that's it. That's the update. I'm gonna go grab some chicken, turkey, ground beef for the week. I think a pack of eggs maybe, and we'll see what kind of veg they have. All right, that's it. Bye. Hi, good morning. It is Saturday, May 30th, and it's about 10:20. I'm on my way to practice right now. So, all right, the last 2 days. First and foremost, before I speak on anything else, I'm so excited for today for a couple reasons, but one of them when it pertains to bodybuilding fitness. Today kicks off the first, it's not that the Arnold isn't part of the season show, but those are invitational events, meaning not, you have to be invited to compete at that competition, those competitions. This is the first open event of the year, the season for us in IFBB Fitness at Legion in Reno. And so I'm so excited to watch the division. There are 7 great talented ladies that will be competing today, and 2 of them I have worked with. So Chrissy and Allison, both I've been helping with routine. Chrissy has been here a couple times, so I've had her in person. So we worked through her choreography and then cleanup. And Allison I've been doing cleanup with. So both of them are competing today in Reno. I am so excited. Couple things from just the last couple days. I am pleasantly surprised that I am not sore from my practice on Wednesday. I thought for sure that I was going to have some lingering soreness. I have not. Wonderful. So that feels like my body is really acclimated into this work, and that's fantastic. Yesterday I had a lot of back and forth with Rael. So Monday starts our first official day together, and so it's just a lot of making sure. I sent her so much, but I needed to update her on new supplement I started taking for adeno that I had read about, and just updated stats since I had my check-in with her. And then she really went into, she asked a lot of questions about my MRI and my diagnosis. I sent her, she had my labs from several weeks ago, but then she actually asked me to backtrack it and send her my labs from October. And I'm really excited for this next part because I'm going to be doing a call with her, and so Rael does a lot of health and longevity focused type things in her practice with her clients, and she has a women's health hormone expert that she works hand in hand with, doctor. And so I'm going to be having a call with her as well to talk through this, because her first thing after I told her everything about how I feel daily, she said, we can undo this. There are ways that you're going to be able to get through life without having to experience this. And I said, yes, please. I'm looking for that. I don't love that the one thing I was told was take birth control to manage your symptoms. So anyways, we'll see what comes of that. But at a minimum, it's another connection point. It's another person to talk to. And it's definitely somebody who I would trust to decipher my labs, my imaging reports, and to provide some guidance as to what that could look like. So that all felt very exciting yesterday. We're drinking coffee today. I put in it vanilla collagen, pinch of stevia, I like my coffee sweet, and cinnamon, and then lactose-free milk. Fun fact, because I haven't talked about this, my post-workout shake is always lactose-free milk with protein, creatine, maca powder, which I love. Gosh, I love the smell of it. And cacao. And so milk stays in my diet, but I do lactose-free because that sits in my stomach well, but it gives me a little bit of carb kick too. So anyways, not that that matters. So that was yesterday. I so I'm on my way to practice now. My right calf is, it is sore today. And I did train legs yesterday, but I actually, on my first leg day of the week, I hit calves pretty hard. I don't on this second day, and so I don't know why my right calf feels this way. I do wonder if maybe I did have hit intervals yesterday. I wonder if my sprinting had to do with it. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I got sidetracked. Rael messaged me, and so there was blips coming up on my phone. She was messaging me about my cycle and also my check-in pictures, which we'll talk about in a moment. Anyways, I use a manual treadmill when I do my intervals because if you've never been on a manual treadmill, you have to do the work. You can't rely on just tapping a speed and then holding. You have to pull your leg through and keep the belt moving. It mimics, it gives you a little resistance, but it mimics true running more. Helps you improve your run form too. So anyways, I was using a manual treadmill yesterday, and I held my speed very consistent between 10, 6, and 11. I did 4 rounds. I did skier, ball slams, and then sprints for 4 total rounds of all of that. Anyways, I'm guessing that's why my calf feels, it feels tender today. So I did, about 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, my cycle started. So I admittedly not feeling 100 today. When I say not feeling 100, like I feel okay, but I was really, really crampy. I made it through the night, but I was probably woken up 2 to 3 times in pain. And then finally at like 7:30 this morning, it came on again, and I took naproxen, which has been helping. So I took 500 milligrams of naproxen with my breakfast, and now it's starting to subside, thankfully. So going into practice today, I had intentions before this of I'm going to go in and do a full run. I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on my sections today. Tomorrow will be another practice day. Tomorrow I know I'll feel better, so I can push a little bit harder. So today that's the focus. And I didn't talk about this, but this is not my favorite. For me, on me, I think it's super cute on other people. I slipped on my hair 3 to 4 times at practice on Wednesday, and I said, okay, that's it. She's done. We're doing a braid ponytail. So this is what I did in the middle of practice last time, and then I did not slip on my hair. So here we go with this. And I added purple today because my costume is going to have purple in it this year. Purple, pink, orange, very vibrant. So I'm excited for that. Before I left, and before I had breakfast and everything, I did check in pictures today. So quick update on physique. Things are continuing to move in a very good direction. I saw a significant drop in my weight today. It's a new low for this prep. And I anticipate, because I'm just starting my cycle, I'm probably still probably still retaining a little bit of water. And so I feel like that is actually going to be a bit lower. So it'll be interesting to see this week, but new low on that side. My hips did come down 1/4 inch this past week, so that was significant. And just overall, my body looks tighter than it has, as it should, right? Like week to week, we should see some progression. And in my preps previous, my body responds the best in the final, this final push, the final 8 weeks. I always see the most change, which is for most people. You know, once you get to a point where you don't necessarily have a lot of fat to continue to lose, not that there isn't, will continue to, it's how you see more muscle, is fat loss. But you can see that my body's just getting more refined, and definitely the little things I've been focusing on are popping a lot more. My upper body always comes in much faster than my lower. Every prep is different, and I've said this in previous videos. Being a little bit older too, my body's changing in different ways, and it's so interesting. Usually my core will tighten up. Not that it's not tight, but like usually I'm gonna see a lot of definition in my abdomen, whereas now I'm seeing more definition coming through in my lower body, and my abdomen's coming in a little bit slower. So it's just interesting because I've never seen that happen before in my body. So definitely a different prep this time around. But it's exciting that we get on plan on Monday. I feel like I am just holding my breath to see the plan today. She already told me tomorrow's going to be my full prep day, so making sure I get everything in alignment so Monday I can just hit the ground running. But I know how she does programming, and I know like that I've been ramping up for this moment. It's going to be 150% hard and heavy, and yeah, we're gonna get after it for the next 5 weeks, and then again, if this is anything like the last time, we should get to a point where then we just coast in. So that's where we're at today. All right, I'm gonna head in and practice, and we will talk after. All right, we're done with practice. Not my best, and I am trying to give myself grace considering my circumstances walking into practice today. I just looked slow today. Watching my runs back, I was unimpressed. And it wasn't that the skills were bad. The skills were fine. It just wasn't hitting the way I have been. And it was frustrating because I was trying, like really trying. And it's one thing, oh my gosh, this person's pulled up for me. We talked about this just a little bit ago about being confident enough in your skill set that you don't have to just think, oh my gosh, and then you can let everything else go. I'm at a point where I'm able to really focus on the performance aspect of it, and I've been doing a good job of that. And so it's frustrating to know, like, I am trying to hit things so sharp, and it still just looks like I'm going through the motions, and I hate that. So I'm hopeful tomorrow is going to yield a stronger practice, because I said earlier, I'm excited for a number of reasons. I never gave the reasons beyond Legion. It's so nice here. So nice out in the 70s. We're going to downtown Northville today with Hazel. She's gonna get a night out too. There's a really nice back way we walk to the downtown area. It's so pretty. It's so nice. It's very scenic. And Hazel loves it. So I imagine we'll probably head out around 4. I'm not a late dinner girly. I like early dinners. But it is a refeed day, so again, with the start of my cycle, I always prioritize at a minimum red meat. So there's a place in Northville I really like for burgers and fries. So we are going out for burgers, and I will have sweet potato fries. I'm very much looking forward to that. But I say that because tomorrow, being fueled off a refeed, I almost always have a really good practice the next day. And Rael wants some things from me, so I am not sending today. Not that she shouldn't know, she's my coach, but I want to give her like a really solid view of where we're at, because it's been about 3 weeks since she's seen it, and a lot changes. You know, as you practice, a lot changes in a week of practice, let alone 3 weeks. So anyways, I'm looking forward to the rest of the day just chilling. I'm heading home I need to eat, but I'm not horribly hungry, so I might just do my shake now. and then do my next meal in like 2 hours before we head out, a little before we head out. But just relax. I need to do some laundry and just take it easy. My body needs a little rest. So that's it. That's Saturday. We'll talk tomorrow. Hi. Okay, so this video is coming a couple days later, which is not normal. We're going to talk why in a second. I've needed a couple days here. First off, because this is where we left off at, Legion happened on Saturday. Allison won, so she is going back to the Olympia, and Chrissy got 4th. How cool. I'm so happy for everybody that competed, but once again, to have the opportunity to pour into 2 athletes who are competing and see both of them in the top 5 is very cool. This is Allison's 5th time going back to the Olympia consecutively, and this is Chrissy's 2nd pro show, and she got 4th, which is amazing, and I'm really excited to see what the season holds if Chrissy chooses to continue to compete, and I am excited for Allison. And you know, she tackled this prep differently, and it was really cool to see how she showed up to this one. So I think Olympia will be interesting to see how she shows up, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride. Okay, so practice Sunday for me, I did not run full out, which we will talk about in a moment as to why I didn't. However, I did run my sections, and Sunday's practice was better than Saturday. By a long shot. I got really good runs. I did send my routine over to Rael. I got great feedback. She does want to see, she wants to see some things. We're going to be talking about it. I don't know what those things are, but she does want to see some things out of it. And then I sent it to Andrea, and Andrea did me such a solid and gave me like, no, she hadn't watched the full thing. She put herself on voice recording and said, I'm watching it for the first time, here's my feedback. And then after she did that, she came back in and just gave me some notes. And I just genuinely appreciate it. And she messaged me just the other day talking about how vulnerable it is to get feedback. It really is, especially when it comes to any kind of creative outlet. You're putting yourself out there and asking for somebody to basically tear you apart. Like, tell me it. Like, let's do this. And because here's the thing, you're going to get better when you get that. It might sting a little sometimes. It didn't. She was wonderful, and I agreed with everything she said. I always find the ones that sting a little are always usually coming from my coach, and it's always like, I don't like this, change this, or you need to be harder about, like, you need to train this harder. But you're right, and that's how you become a better athlete. So anyways, it was a really solid practice. I think I was practicing for an hour and 40 minutes. It was really productive and solid. All that's great. This is why I needed a couple days. So pretty long story short, I had mentioned in the previous videos here, like, or the last couple days, like, Rael really was asking for more information, and started to go back quite a bit with my recent adeno and endo diagnosis, alongside with some lab markers. She basically said she would highly advise pumping the brakes for a little bit of time. And her concern is that what I'm going through is going to get worse by digging deeper, and furthermore, potentially getting to a point where my body's not responding. Above all, and I've said this from day one, my health trumps everything. And so when I've said I needed a couple days, it's not because we're taking Chicago off the table. I'm cool with that. I'm not married to any one specific show. I wanted to show up to support it because I love the fact that there was a show in the Midwest that is drivable, that I can show up for in fitness because our numbers are typically pretty small. However, again, my health takes, as should any athlete, your health has to take precedence over all of this. And I mean, there's other options. It's not that competing is off the table for the season, but it is like we need to take a step back to make sure that hopefully I start to remedy some of the symptoms I'm having from endo and adeno. And so basically what that means right now is we're taking a 4-week trial run of pushing a lot of food and scaling back intensity on my training and pouring into recovery. When I say recovery, sleep, making sure I prioritize rest and letting my body calm down a little, which I recognize. I told her the same. I said, I'm the type of person that's just gonna go. And I like have a hard time, especially when I'm in this competition mindset. It's hard for me to turn that off or to turn the volume down. And so the last couple days I do feel, it's tough. You've been training adamantly and hard, and especially in bodybuilding, you're seeing your body change. It becomes exciting to see. But for me, there also feels like there's a sadness for me not piecing together some of this before this conversation. Especially when I've had these conversations with healthcare providers and kind of told like, no, everything's fine. Keep on keeping on. Anyways, that's why you hire a coach though. And hopefully a good coach who can peel back layers. And some of the things she is getting into are things that I think aren't necessarily fully tested on metabolic panels. We've spoken about my ferritin, but like that's a big one. Is like as an athlete, my ferritin is still below what we should be seeing to optimize performance, and my leptin is exceptionally low. Now, that being said, and I think this part's important, my leptin was tested in October, the very last week of October, 2 weeks before a High Rocks. And I had a feeling at the time when I was training for High Rocks, based on just how I felt, which I wasn't feeling good, and the intensity was high, I thought I might have been under fueling my body. I don't know that I realized how much. And I knew at the time when I saw that leptin reading, I was like, that's not good. Like, this is rough. I haven't had that retested, but October wasn't that long ago. And so I can understand where that is a big cause for concern. But I think this is like a word to the wise one. If you're gonna train that hard, you gotta feed your body for it. Otherwise, leptin's like your safety net. It's your body's safety hormone. It's telling your body, I feel safe in general. And when leptin's really low, it sends a signal to your body like we're gonna be in constant fight or flight. It's your satiety hormone, and so it lets you know when you're feeling full. And so I don't know if I guess I've ever recognized that. Like, did I overeat? I'm not sure. Like, was I not recognizing that? I feel like I do listen to my body a lot and know when I'm like kind of brushing on a point of feeling like a solid level of fullness and not overeating, but I don't know. Anyways, but having low leptin can downregulate other hormones, and that becomes, herein lies the problem. So we're taking a different path right now. That's how we're looking at it. So 4 weeks, I have a lot more carbs put into my life. So basically it's the same nutrition I've been having, but add in a lot more carbs. No more low days at all. And we're going to see how my body responds. The hope is, everything's on an upward trend in 4 weeks. If everything's on an upward trend, green light given to get back to pursuing. If that becomes the case, there are several options in August. I think I know at this point where my heart is at with what I want to do with my season. I'm going to wait to speak on that though until I start getting more information back. But I'm now I'm that's the focus. Training's a lot less intense, no training to failure. It's a lot less. And so, but we're again prioritizing rest, recovery, feeding my body, and I am trusting in this process. So that's the hand I have been dealt at the moment, and I am fully accepting it in an effort to improve my health. That way I'm stepping on stage in the best package I can present, and that's going to be the healthiest version of me, and that's the commitment I've made to myself. You've heard me say this time and time and time again, and I'm all in on whatever it takes to get my body back to, or not back to, but in a healthier place, to help make sure that I'm not escalating my symptoms around my cycle, and that I'm not crashing my internal system. The way Ryle said it too, I think was really well said. When she went through all my labs, she said, your metabolic engine is extremely strong. Like my lipid profile, my triglycerides, insulin sensitivity, like all of that is extremely strong. I just have some friction underneath that we need to try to resolve, hopefully through lifestyle. So we will leave on that. We're not going to stop training. We're still in prep mindset. It's just a little bit of a shift of a mindset. It's more of a recovery prep mindset right now. So again, I'm trusting the process, and we're going to keep on keeping our eyes out towards probably August. But for the short term, current focus on is let's do everything in my power. So when I have my labs retested in 4 weeks, we see improvement. And I do believe that the body is capable of healing when you allow it the space to heal. So, all right, I'll see you later.